All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another Deepvue tutorial. Today we'll be talking about the 3 weeks tight data point that we have here in the platform, and this is something that you can add to your data columns. Let's actually go ahead and do that. 3 weeks tight. It's under technicals. Let's go ahead and add that here. You can see it added over here on the right hand side as well as live here, and we can also screen by that. That's what I'm using to build this screen, as you can see, and we'll go over these filters in just a minute. And we also have the indicator here on the chart that allows you to spot these 3 weeks tights. So what 3 weeks tight is basically when you have very little change from week to week for at least 2 weeks. So these weeks here are tight, and from contraction can come expansion. So often these are great add-on points, signs of accumulation, or other, constructive price and volume action. After a breakout, you might want to see a 3 weeks tight, and that can be a spot where you can continue to build your position or even start a new swing trade if you haven't yet. And within a base, it can be a sign that institutions are accumulating shares or just a potential early entry point. So it's a really good spot where you can, it's a really good price and volume characteristic to take a look for. So here to add the indicator, let's talk about that. It's part of the technical patterns indicator. If we go over to settings, you can see under inputs, you can select 3 weeks tight. And under styling, you can go ahead and change the color that it will color the bar. And this is only on the weekly charts. So you could make this blue, whatever kind of really stands out to you. That's what you should go ahead and use. Once you've got this set up, you can go ahead and press OK. And this is kind of how I've got my weekly chart set up. I've got the 10-week, the 40-week, colored bars here. And then 3 weeks tight is its own kind of color signal for me. And it's a great way to, spot stocks that are setting up. For instance, if we bring up Nvidia, it showed a 3 weeks tight right before its huge move to start off 2024. And you can see even back here, there were signs of accumulation, very tight price action, even though it didn't progress from this point, even though it did the next week. This started the basing process, but it's just a sign that there's very little give back. Institutions are still accumulating shares, and the stock still has a lot of potential, and it really tightened up on here on the right-hand side. Showed a great 3 weeks tight right before this explosive move. So that's ideally what we're looking for, either 3 weeks tights within bases that are potential spots to enter, or just signs of accumulation, or after a breakout has occurred, if the stock then forms a 3 weeks tight, that can be a really great spot to build a position and look for an add-on spot. As I mentioned, maybe after an earnings gap up, we get 3 weeks tight as the stock builds a shelf, accumulates any accumulating shares as the stock kind of shakes out any weak holders, and stronger holders are taking those shares, and then we can progress further. So that's kind of what we're looking for with 3 weeks tight. Going over to the screen, you can go ahead and take a look at these filters. I'm looking for dollar volume of at least 20 million, ATR of over 2%, and looking for common stocks 3 weeks tight, and price versus the 50-day of greater than -3%. So we are looking for stocks above the 10-week moving average or 50-day here with this screen. Going over to the results, you can see AMD is in here this week. We've also got, if we go ahead and click through app, so this is more of a follow-on shelf that's formed after the breakout, but it's been tight the past 3 weeks as it forms this mini base. We've got BECN, DCI, a little bit more volatile, but still 3 weeks tight. This is post-breakout, a nice 3 weeks tight. So these are just a few examples of stocks showing up on the screen, but it's a great idea sourcing screen that you could run every single week after, of course, the weekly closes are in. HLT, you can see this is forming it within the base. So this is kind of showing accumulation, and you can see it formed multiple 3 weeks tight during this very strong move up from the 150s all the way up to the early 200s. So that's pretty much it for the 3 weeks tight. Definitely recommend checking this out, trying it out in a screen. I'll probably be adding this as a preset, and I think we already have a 3 weeks tight preset that you can go ahead and check out. But hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you guys in future videos. Take care.